drove into Cape May after dark. I had lost signal somewhere on the way in, so I followed road signs through the last few streets. When I finally found the hotel, it looked a little different from the photos online. Similar, but not the same. The same old seaside style, the same narrow porch. But everything looked darker, older, like the place had been left behind by time. The woman at the front desk barely looked at me. She handed me the key and told me my room was upstairs. The second floor smelled like damp wood and salt. The hallway was long, narrow, and lit by weak yellow bulbs. There was another door directly across from my room. I could not sleep that first night. The house was too quiet. Then I realized there was another sound in the room across from mine. Someone was walking. At first, I did not fully understand what I was hearing. Just slow footsteps in the next room. Calm, measured, like someone pacing in the dark. A few seconds later, the worst part hit me. Whoever it was, they were barefoot. Step, pause, another step. The sound was too clear, too close. Not pipes, not wind, not some random creak in an old building. Bare feet on old floorboards moving slowly behind the wall. I lay there in the dark and listened until morning. The next day, I went downstairs and told the woman at the desk that someone had spent the whole night walking in the room next to mine. She answered too quickly. That room hasn't been rented out in a long time. I stared at her for a few seconds. Then who was in there? She stayed quiet long enough to make me feel worse than I had the night before. Then she looked up and said, "After 10 o'clock, don't open your door." Why? Just don't. That was all she gave me. By that evening, the whole place felt different, not emptier, more aware. I sat in my room with the lights off, listening to the old wood settle in the walls. Sometime after 10, I heard the door across the hall creak open. I froze. Someone stepped out of that room and started walking barefoot down the hallway. The footsteps moved slowly toward my door, not hiding, not hurrying, just coming closer. I got up and moved nearer, listening. They stopped, right outside my door. I waited for the handle to turn, for a knock, for breathing on the other side. Nothing, just silence, a long, heavy silence. When everything finally went still, I slowly cracked my door open. The hallway was empty. The only thing there was a trail of wet footprints with sand around them, leading back toward the room across the hall. They looked fresh, too clear, too real. Only then did I remember her rule. After 10, do not open the door. By the third night, I was already waiting for it. I sat in the dark and listened. The footsteps started again behind the wall. The same slow rhythm. The same bare feet crossing old boards. A few seconds later, I heard the door across the hall open. Something inside me tightened. Someone stepped into the hallway and walked toward my room. The footsteps reached my door and stopped. Someone was standing outside. I pressed myself against the door and could not move. It felt like if I so much as breathed too loudly, whoever was on the other side would know exactly where I was. There was no knocking, no breathing, no movement, just presence, silent, heavy, waiting. Then the footsteps started again, not in the hall, behind me, inside my room. For a second, I thought I had imagined it. Then I heard another step, very close. My breath caught in my throat. Cold ran through my back, sharp as winter air through an open window. I started turning slowly, already knowing I was not alone anymore. My hand reached for the light. Shaking, I found the switch. The light came on, and something inside me dropped. The room was empty. No one, just a line of wet footprints trailing across the floor toward the old wardrobe against the wall. The footprints had appeared behind me, inside my room, inside my locked room. They led straight to the wardrobe. I stood there staring at them, unable to explain how they could possibly be there. They looked too solid to be fear, too exact to be imagination. I forced myself to take one step forward, then another. With every step, it felt like there was less air in the room, like the walls were inching closer, like the whole house was holding its breath, waiting to see what I would do next. By the time I reached the wardrobe, I was shaking so badly my fingers barely worked. Even the silence felt heavy, pressing against my chest. Still, I reached for the handle, and the moment I did, I heard something behind me, a heavy metallic sound. Someone was turning a key in the lock of my door from the outside, locking me in. At the exact same moment, my phone rang. A man's voice came through the speaker. "Sir, I'm calling about your reservation. We're concerned because you were supposed to arrive 2 days ago."